And let's talk about now some real use cases. And I'll open this up to the panel. What are other benefits you can observe already happening or being impacted with credit unions? And let's include fintechs in that. They're part of that credit union ecosystem using AI. Paul, I believe you've got a few examples to kick off that will inspire our audience. If you'll share those, please.
Sure. There's a couple that came to mind immediately that I think are really fascinating. The first one is sentiment analysis. For call center calls, they actually have AI agents now that will listen in and help the call center staff person understand, is this person getting really angry? Do I need to de-escalate? Or what's their mood? What's their emotional mood? And to help the call center staff person better handle the call. So sentiment analysis is pretty wild, and I think that's a neat one. The other one that I really like that a lot of credit unions have been adopting is an internal chatbot, right? So this doesn't need to be super polished because it's not market facing, it's not for members, it's internal. This ingests all of the documents of the credit union internally, very safe, right, in that way. And then staff of the credit union can ask questions of it to find documents, to find policies, to better understand how to accomplish their tasks, their everyday jobs.
Paul, we found
Those are,
that in, oh, I'm sorry, Lisa.
oh no, go for it.
Okay. Paul, we found that really useful. We just launched PAL, which is Premier Assistance Library. So our staff can go ask their friend PAL questions, maybe how to serve a certain member need, or what holidays we observe, or an accounting process. But that's been extremely beneficial for us, and it just creates a lot of efficiencies. And so we really see the benefit in that internal source.
And I think you shared with us when we were prepping that you've also used AI within Premiere for real practical efficiency gains in a process. Would you mind sharing that one with us?
Sure. We started a merger in 2024 with a smaller credit union merging in with us. And as I've said throughout this conversation, start small. So we really relied on AI to help with processing the due diligence of a merger. Obviously, being really careful of the information you input so that you're not breaking any non-disclosures or confidentiality. But we were able to create timeframes based on the targeted merger date. We could input the requirements of the state, requirements of NCUA, and it would provide us a time frame of the key dates that we need to meet. We could do rate and fee comparisons. We could compare policies, get a summary of exam reports. But overall, that due diligence process, that's a pretty heavy lift for credit unions in considering mergers. It really simplified it for us and also created a map for future mergers.
I love it. And again, real use cases. George, you're one of our visionaries on this call. Um, what else comes to your mind when we think about the art of the possible?
Like for me, so I love the idea of, credit unions or organizations at large, but since we're talking about credit, imagine having an AI system that you've trained on your data, you've trained on your values, you've trained on your core tenets that then monitors the organization's behavior across the board from the teller to the call center to your own executives at conferences interaction, and is monitoring to make sure that that personality, that uh, uh, vision or entity that you've created as a whole is behaving and adhering to those tenets and those values, right? Like, I mean, that is like, I mean, I study complex systems, so I'm talking about emergent behavior, and I get geeked out about this. But for me, I think that's the long form there, right? Like where suddenly I might be writing an email to a member, and the AI system realizes I'm not using the right tone, and this is or maybe I'm like, I just say, no, we can't help you. And it's like, no, it flags it. It's like, no, you should be going that extra mile because that's what we said we were going to do. Right now, there's a lot of different ways you could go into that and say it's creepy or not creepy. My point is that there, it's a problem. We don't know where this is all going. We're still at the initial stages, and I think that it's almost every technology we've dealt with has always come out the practical and most valuable uses didn't come in for like 10, 15, almost 20 years later, right? That where suddenly somebody says, wow, that's interesting. GPS, right? GPS was, I remember when I had the TomTom, I had two two cars, their windows were smashed because I left a TomTom in, right? For everybody out there, TomTom was what we used to use and buy a lot and for navigation. And those things sucked, right? They were terrible. You went, like they were terrible. Like after a while, if there was no signal. Now, like nobody knows what a TomTom is. You really don't buy it. It comes integrated on my phone. I mean, my watch. So what I'm saying is that the value that technology from 30 years ago, GPS was around right around the first Gulf War. So that value, we really didn't get to the real nitty gritty till now, right? Like where you got, if I'm running and I fall down, it'll send a signal saying somebody fell here, right? So I think that the sky's the limit. I think that there's a lot of potential, in particular with credit unions, around adhering to our values and our tenets that we really want to focus in a way that we couldn't before.